the only way to get to the point where you're going to love the dreams and chasing them is when you overcome your doubts and fears. And that's what we're talking about on this video. Welcome to the Goal Setting Guide. My name is Z and this is Fearless Dreams. Let's go. So, you have formulated a perfect goal. You have devised a perfect plan for achieving it. And if you haven't done this, I'm going to link in the card the 2 first episodes of this series. And now comes the hardest part, putting this plan into action and making everything a reality. And on the way, this means we need to face our doubts, our fears, and so on. Today, I'm going to show you several ways to deal with this, and let's get right into the first one. You probably remember that you formulated your goal and it looks very big, so the next thing we did is we'll just break it down into little pieces and then devise a plan for making it happen. Well, now is the time to just make the first small step. And coming back to the example of my YouTube start, well, it's very easy. The first very little step that I needed to take was to just go online and see what secondhand cameras are on the market, what are the prices, and just research. It was that simple. I didn't even have to go out of my bed, and I just looked and just got the feel of how much money I'll need to spend and so on. And that's the really small first step that I undertook in this YouTube journey. In the beginning, it will be quite normal that you will still be excited about this. It's an amazing journey that you're undertaking and you'll be extremely motivated. But at some point, all this enthusiasm will go down. And this is actually the first obstacle that you will need to overcome. What I suggest is to just formulate your purpose and why you are doing this in 2 small sentences. This way, every time that you're in doubt, you can go back and just read them out loud to yourself. This is a very simple and efficient way to stay focused and ignore everything else that's going on in your life and all the obstacles that you will be facing. The next thing you need to do is to tell everybody around you about your plan and about your goal. Why? Because in every little conversation that you're going to have in the future with them, they're going to hold you accountable. And if you just want to repeat, well, I failed, or no, I didn't start doing it at all, well, it wouldn't be a pleasant conversation. And this will be, trust me, a very powerful trigger every time that you start doing something and you're not really into it and you're not convinced that you want to do it. I personally even went a step further, so when I was telling everybody about my YouTube idea, I told them, hold me accountable. So if you listen to me complaining and trying to quit, just tell me that I suck and I'm not going to be anything special in this life. On top of just sharing your idea with other people, just engage in a conversation on the subject. Different people have different points of view and different experience, which you can use in the process. There might be generated ideas in these conversations that are going to help you get closer and faster to the point that you want to achieve. Also, it's a great way to spread the word. So if you're selling a product or something, maybe the people around you are interested and want to buy it. Or they're going to tell you where else you can buy such things and what are kind of your competitors or things that you still haven't noticed on your market. For me, it's also another way for gaining more followers and more exposure. So when I talk with my friends and friends of my friends and friends of their friends, I always try to mention, but not in an invasive way, that yes, I'm trying to launch a channel. And you know, the positive feedback is just great and people start getting involved, and hopefully in the future they find value in these videos and will subscribe to the channel. Another thing that I noticed in those conversations is that others are also more motivated to achieve their goals. So they're like, oh man, I'm not doing anything in my life besides just work and going home. So maybe I should, try and do this idea that I had as a little kid. And that for me is great. This means that I'm affecting people in a positive way. The next thing I regularly do is to devise a plan with my closest people of how we are going to celebrate our successes. And going back to the example of YouTube, I have this plan with my best friend that once we hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to go with her in Rome, in one of our favorite places, and we're going to book a very specific hotel at the Pantheon Square with the look in at the Rotonda. And that's just visualizing it, it makes me go nuts, guys. It will be so great, and we're going to celebrate this success together. And that's what I do with all other people around me. So we generate this collective thinking that once we achieve something, it's either their achievement or my achievement. We're going to celebrate it big time. Building up on the last point, it's very, very important to celebrate every little success on the way. So for example, when you launch your first YouTube video, or when you open up your store, or when you make your first sale, maybe even if you just pass your first exam, these are all reasons for a celebration. And it doesn't have to be something fancy. You can just buy yourself something or go somewhere, or even just smile, just enjoy the moment of achieving something very small and knowing that this is going to take you to the bigger goal at the end of the street. For some people, this might sound strange, but actually it's great. Don't care what other people are saying. Just program your brain that is going to get used to success and to celebrating it. That's why it's going to anticipate it in the future, and you'll be like on drugs for this feeling, and it will be like, I want to do more and I want to achieve more so I can celebrate more, and this will make a huge difference. That is it for today's video, guys. And don't forget, it's completely normal to be scared and to have doubts, but as we saw today, there are different ways to deal with this. Make sure you keep them as a list and follow them, and you'll see how easy it is to overcome your fears, because there will be some. Make sure to stay tuned for the last episode, where I'm actually going to lay down my idea and show you my personal process of making it happen, and actually what I've reached until now and what is still to be reached by the end of next year. So I'll see you in the next one. Ciao! God, I'm loving this.